Now, before I start this review, I think it's pertinent to let you guys know that I've been really excited for read-only memories for months now. That being said, I've tried not to let that get in the way of my review. Also, I'm going to be explaining what happens in the review, so if you don't want anything spoiled, I suggest you don't watch this video. That being said, if you do watch this video, I hope you enjoy. For those of you that don't know what read-only memories is, it's a game based in the future where robots have become necessary for modern society. Most of these robots are known as ROMs. What does ROM stand for? It's a technical term meaning read-only memory. Now the title makes sense, doesn't it? Read-only memory is how computers read things like CDs and floppy disks. Thus, not only is ROM an appropriate title for the robotic characters in the game, but basing the game's title on the technical terms and aspects of the game is clever and intelligent. So there's that. Getting down to the core gameplay of read-only memories, Midboss took a step back a few years and created a point-and-click adventure game that was interesting and engaging. You have 5 options in the game's menu: talk, look, use, map, item. Each doing something different with the object you're interacting with. Talk allows you to talk to people in ROMs. Look allows you to look at people and objects. Use allows you to interact with objects and people. Map lets you look at the map and go to different locations. And finally, item allows you to look at and use your varying items. The only complaint I have about this interface is sometimes the game can be very vague about what it wants you to do. There was a point in the game where I was trying to speak to a character to get some information, but instead of using the talk command, I had to use the use command. It's a small detail, but one that I found a little confusing. Something I noticed immediately about this game was the humor. This game is filled with dry humor, poking fun at appearances of objects and why you'd want to interact with them in the first place. At one point, while clicking on a poster in my apartment, I got the message, "Watch out, that's a load-bearing poster." Upon clicking the poster again, I was told, "Seriously, that poster's holding the wall up." As a fan of dry and dark humor, I felt a place here, although I can see how it might alienate the casual audience. I'd like to talk about the plot and characters together, as it doesn't seem fit to separate them. At the start of the game, you arrive at your apartment. You're given the basic rundown of the place, what's in it, what everything does, and you're thrown into the game. Your character is a freelance journalist trying to get by, and you've got a report to write so you don't get kicked out of your apartment. After doing so, you decide that it's probably best if you at least try to get some sleep. Upon awakening, you find a rogue ROM in your room. He greets you with a smile and says that he's been looking for you. After some conversation, you learn a few things. This ROM's name is Turing, and its creator and your friend Hayden has been kidnapped. I'd like to take a moment to talk about Turing. Turing is a pretty fantastic character. Not only does he have a plight that the player can get behind, that being the kidnapping of his creator, but he's a rather friendly and open character from the beginning. He brings a new flavor of humor to the dark and dry world that we've seen, and the interactions that the character can have with him can be straight up hilarious. His design is great looking, very crisp and clean, and as the face of read-only memories, you couldn't ask for a better character. As far as the demo allows you to play, I couldn't find a single thing wrong about him. He even offers to fix up your apartment and schedules repairs and maintenance without your permission, something that, while a little weird, makes him even more endearing. After meeting and speaking to Turing, he arranges a cab ride to Hayden's house. Upon arriving, the house seems clean and well kept, albeit a few things are broken due to the struggle of the kidnapping. After searching for a bit, you find Hayden's planner and a scrap of paper. The two fit with each other, and you find that Hayden is supposed to meet a person by the name of Tomcat at a local club called Stardust. Upon arrival, you begin asking the patrons where you can find Tomcat. The bartender and owner of Stardust says he'll keep an eye out for him and let him know that you're looking for him. I'd like to take another minute and talk about the bartender. While I've only played the demo build, I can see that the bartender seems like a rather unimportant character, only there to help to carry the plot forward and move the game on. That being said, the amount of detail put into this character and his backstory is rather interesting. You learn that this character's name is Majid, he's from Pakistan, and that he has a boyfriend. You learn the history of Stardust and how it got so popular. He bears friendly characteristics, and the time you spend with Majid is interesting and concise. As you find and meet Tomcat, you learn a lot about him. He was blacked out for a few years because he broke into Parallax's main ROM servers. Parallax is the corporation that creates most of the ROMs in the game, and so breaking into their servers would harness huge repercussions. This shows that Tomcat is indeed a rather smart character. When he was blacked out, he wasn't allowed to have any technology, leaving him to resort to books. He says that he picked up his southern accent from reading and pretending to be a southern belle. He says that he worked with Hayden rather closely building Turing, something that surprises Turing. Tomcat then informs you that you have to get a data cache off the computer. The only thing that I didn't really like about Tomcat was his character design. It's rather unattractive, and the character looks old. I'm not sure if this was supposed to be the case, but I noticed it and it just didn't appeal to me. When you return to Hayden's, you find that ROM is guarding the door and won't let you pass. You recall a friend named Lexi you have in the Force and decide to go find her to get her help. After a quick stop at the police station, you find her at Golden Gate Park investigating a case of rogue ROM destroying a vendor. When she gets time with you, you explain the situation and you want something done out of the books. She agrees to look into it, but refuses to get you access into Hayden's apartment. It's Turing who decides to steal her ID to get in. This is where the game's puzzle-solving elements kick in, because you have to find a way to distract Lexi and get her badge. I'd like to take a second and talk about Lexi. Your character knows Lexi due to the fact that she once dated your sister. Lexi just became a detective in the city you live in, and she's rather upset at how things are run in the town. She thinks that the people in charge don't trust her, so she sent on things she feels as meaningless instead of actual cases. While she can be rude, she shows that she really cares about your friendship, and her stern attitude is kept because she wants you to be safe. Her character design is fantastic and makes me think of a cross between Mirror's Edge Faith Connors and Final Fantasy's Lightning. Her character is appealing, and her design is too. There for a while, I couldn't figure out how to distract Lexi. I clicked on everything from the vendor to the carousel in the park. It wasn't until I noticed a little ROM giving out free water that it clicked. Every time I collect water from this ROM, he was close to being empty. After he became empty, he freaked out and ran away, right into Lexi. As we helped Lexi up, Turing grabbed her badge and we made off to Hayden's house. Back at Hayden's house, we used Lexi's badge to get past the ROM and into the building. The room is totally destroyed and messy, the total opposite of what it had been before we left. This leaves Turing in a very angry and sad state of mind, separating himself from a barrier that many ROMs have. Turing has emotions. He was an invention of Hayden's, a ROM that could change his programming and thought process to fit the moment. That means Turing can attack humans, feel emotions, and think. It becomes clear at this moment that Turing may, in fact, be whatever the group that attacked Hayden was after. Upon further investigation, you find graffiti spelling out Human Revolution, a group out to stop ROMs and hybrids, people who have changed their bodies to look or be different. It's at this point the demo is end. After playing, I felt that I wanted to continue the adventure. The characters were engaging, the story was fantastic, and above all, it felt crisp and clean to play. I'd recommend to anyone who enjoys smart storytelling and point-and-click adventures. The demo was fantastic play, and while I can't say anything on the full game, I can say that the demo made me want more. Hey guys, CenturionDan here. Give this video a like if you think it deserves a like. Give it a dislike if you think it deserves a dislike. Also, my Facebook is here. Subscribe and you'll be notified every time I release a new video. See you later, guys.